Let's get it on.
Down, Marty. Down. Down, Marty.
Hello, listeners. And
There's
Marty.
Petey in the background.
Hello.
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 Where am I? Who am I?
Hello?
You're in a tunnel?
Hey. I'm sorry. Wait. You got You break. Hang on.
You're break- you're
So
broken up
hi,
with me,
we're always
Miles?
strikes last, and
are always
this
strike
is
last.
this is a
Yes.
this is an actual podcast.
Nice.
Go on.
True story.
We're trying to shoot for top 20 and we don't know who to bribe yet, but we're going to get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Are
What
there
if we just bribe ourselves?
20 other podcasts? Or 19 other Age of Sigmar? I'm sure there probably
Yeah,
are.
we got to go take one of them out, Miles.
Sometimes
Right.
one of us will surface a list, and it's filled with podcasts that don't have nearly the episodes we do, and that I haven't heard
They're
of. either.
YouTube channels, not actual podcasts.
Oh my god.
Shenanigans out there.
So Miles has found a list of podcasts, and we're slowly going through them because it's a cool thing, right? But I should probably actually link that so everybody else can see all these podcasts. There is apparently a thriving ecosystem of AOS people who sit in front of a mic and talk.
Weird.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
true. It's true.
Weird.
Some are regularly updated. Some
Once a year.
last in 2018, but
Yep. Yeah.
You guys did more digging than I did. I just found a list and saw that we weren't on it and then got upset.
Listen, we got to do this for Miles, all right?
Yeah.
Listen, everybody in Michigan just told 5 friends.
I don't care
Okay.
about this list. I just want
It's
to be on
true.
the list.
the good news for people following this along and saying, can we move on from this, is that we will be on this list. Because I think I found out you just have to submit your name. And it'll probably
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was it.
British content will.
It was
Quickly.
pretty easy.
One of those self-listing lists, I see.
Yeah, well,
read it
while
down.
we're on the vanity of podcast stuff, please go like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit the bell.
Absolutely.
You'll
Leave a
love to see
comment
it.
for us. I know it's the thing we have to say.
Yeah.
But genuinely, I've seen our engagement go up each time we've said it.
Yep.
So
It's in my contract when I signed on.
Yeah.
yeah.
Matt will read all of your comments.
I do,
Mhm.
and I even give them a little heart most of the time.
Aw.
Nice.
Which is high praise. High praise.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to follow up on that, yes, like, subscribe, listen to the episode, tell your friends, tell people you think might enjoy it, spread the word.
Tell
And
people who you don't know if they'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Take a gamble.
Tell people
mean-
you don't like about it, and then they'll be forced to listen through the entire episode.
Ooh.
We'll
Think
take a
about
hate
that.
listen because that will
convert
help the
others
hearts.
to the practice of playing this game through the episodes. I mean,
Yeah.
all of this can be done.
Yes.
I think we'd also be remiss in saying that if you like the show and if you like, cool merchandise, you should also check out the shop.
Yeah.
Link below. Lots
Yeah.
of new and neat designs, cooked up by our resident mad geniuses here, Miles and Matt. And I don't think Rocco and I can take credit for anything too
Not a
good yet,
thing.
but maybe
Not
one
at
day.
all.
No.
I'm too lazy. I can't even take credit yet. I design all day, and then Miles is like, you know what? I'm going to design for fun. And I'm like, oh.
He made a cool tracksuit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm going to Tracksuit GT, which is in the UK in February.
Yeah.
I can't go without a specific, like a custom always strikes last tracksuit.
You
It's
got
really
it.
dangerous having access to the merchandise button.
It really is.
That's why I don't have access to it. Oh no.
Like, I can make whatever the hell stupid thing I want and get it
Yep.
at cost shipped to my door. It's
Yeah.
very it's a real problem.
Yeah.
So new idea, guys. We'll just go ahead and mute Miles and
Okay.
mute his headphones. New idea. We turn off
Mhm.
the at cost for him,
Yeah.
and then we have our budget for the entire year done.
There we
Go
go.
on.
There we go.
I like the way you're thinking because between like his, matching jersey booty shorts and the tracksuit, like we're already pretty in the green if we just
Yeah.
don't give him that.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. Gosh, we didn't mute him. Damn.
That's
The plan is spoiled.
Well, how
But-
about this other plan?
What plan?
we have plans coming up. Not us, but Miles has plans specifically.
Plots and plans.
Oh yeah.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
well, so we were all waiting this week for a battle scroll to come out
Go
With
on.
bated
that
breath.
never materialized, and I'm sure there'll be one. But what was interesting about the timing is this Saturday we passed a very important deadline, which is the rules cutoff for Six Nations.
You hate to see that.
So
Mhm,
any
mhm.
rules that come out now are not in play, meaning that what is played at Six Nations is the meta right now. And so I thought it'd be a fun exercise for us all to try and decide what is our Six Nations team. You know, if you're making one now, knowing what the state of the game is frozen in time.
But
So just a
Miles-
reminder to everybody what the format is. You get
Yeah, what
8
is this?
players,
What's going on here?
right? So it's an 8-player team. There's no duplicate teams allowed. Regiments of Renown do count as that faction, so you can't have War Scrolls duplicated into other armies. So if an army takes a Regiment of Renown, then if another player wants to play that army, they can't use those same War Scrolls. And I don't know if we'll get into the nitty gritty here, but there's no duplicate endless spell lores across the team.
So like Nova, right? Essentially Nova, if you were on teams.
Sure, I don't know. Was it 8-person teams or was it?
Oh, Nova is
6.
like non-duplicate, right? For lists.
Yeah, it's not.
Or is that
That's
just
all
40K?
non-duplicate. Yeah. So
Yeah.
those are usually the rules in teams.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, since you're the man of the hour, Miles, what do you want to start with? Because
Well,
I mean,
I think I'm gonna
chop an
kick it
easy
off with
one
the
off the
easy
block.
one. Yeah, I'm gonna kick it off with the easy one. I think we should have Night Haunt.
Really?
Yes.
What?
And
Why
it's
is
a move
that?
it's surprising absolutely no one. But they're just good at everything, right? They've got mobility,
Yeah.
they've got staying power, they've got killy power. They're good at battle tactics. Like there's a lot of high objective missions in the game. They have the movement shenanigans to make it happen. I think they're a great pick.
I can't really disagree with that. I mean, they have demonstrated their ability to win good. We've
Mhm.
talked at length about how they win good.
Mhm.
The
They
community has moaned about how they win good.
Exactly.
And in fact, there's been broad predictions of them winning too good, and this being corrected in the aforementioned non-existent correction. So
Exactly.
why can't they win good for someone at the game?
Yeah.
The big Six Nations, yeah.
So since we knew that was going to be the number one,
Yeah.
what do we think we'd see in that list? Now I've seen All Rock the Drowner.
He's dude on a boat.
Hey man, I'm just gonna blame the Maryland drawl for
I like that guy.
pronouncing
He's
that in a
cool.
very strange way. But I've seen him popping up in a lot of lists lately, or at least presumptive lists.
Mhm.
So I presume he would go in. Would All
He's
Rock go in?
interesting. I'm kind of on the fence with him because I like him. So like on paper, he's fantastic. He and one
On
other
the
unit
table.
get to teleport every turn,
I mean, the model's beautiful too.
right?
Yeah.
And the
Yep.
model's gorgeous, and I'd take him for just that. Like he could be trash, and I'd still want him in
Mhm.
the army. You know?
Big Elden Ring energy in that Bowman.
Right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Never played the
Um,
game, but I feel it.
Yeah. But like the army is already retreating and running and charging every which way. Do you really need 2 teleports on top of that?
I
So
don't think you do.
then
What
on
about
that
my
point,
emotional security teleport?
Look,
well, that's what Dreadblade Heroes are for, right?
yeah.
You're right.
Talking about an army that's got all the tools, huh?
Exactly.
Multiple teleports.
So
So
talk about an army that's got emotional security, just a bunch of balls of hatred with sheets tossed over them.
but I do like that people are taking him because I'm very excited about that model and I want a good reason to have one. You know.
Mhm. Yeah,
Well-
he's next on my list.
Nice.
I guess if we're making hot takes on what's going to be in the army, I kind of
Please.
feel like it would be definitely Reichen the Grimhailer.
Mm.
He's a good wizard for them. I think like a whole lot of Bladegeist Revenants, probably.
Sure.
Yep.
Some hero with the Light of the Harvest Moon, whatever that thing is, and the requisite command trait. And then maybe some Hex Wraiths, or maybe just all Hex Wraiths instead of like the
Hex Wraiths
Could
are
be Hex
pretty
Wraiths.
nice.
I really feel like you can't go wrong. Like you could go Hex Wraiths, you could go Dreadscythe Harridans, right? You could go what's the other one that's not Bladegeist? It's Grimghasts.
Grimghast Reapers.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're interesting because Bladegeists are all about the bonus and the charge, but the Grimghast Reapers you get it even if you don't charge, so they're a good anvil unit. And they get a very similar anyway. So like they're all good choices.
That's true. And that'll be the last time they will all be good choices.
That's true.
Exactly.
They are in such a spot right now that it's impossible to make a bad list. I do wonder if we'll see Deathstalkers just completely nerfed, because that's like half of the thing, right? That's the retreat and charge.
Retreat and run and charge.
Yep, retreat and run and charge, which is
Yeah.
that's the noise I make as Nighthaunt punches me in the face.
That's true.
Those are the sound
funny.
of my plans.
I feel like this particular army is one, Rocco, you would love right now because the sheer strength of the army means that every choice as a narrative choice doesn't make any difference in the function. You can just do whatever you want.
Gotta say, we do have a Nighthaunt army in the house. It's my wife's, but she took it out for one tournament last edition, got second place and retired on top. So we don't necessarily. Yeah, that was a good time, and
Rocco, that's
got
such a
stronger.
confidence. My Nighthaunt is also my wife's, but she doesn't realize it yet.
So I'm gonna put a hot take out here. I want to see Glaive Wraith Stalkers because they're actually able to do double damage on the charge, and they get +2 to charge against their stalked unit.
I mean,
That's pretty
I
cool.
want to see those in there somewhere.
I feel like I saw it was either a Goonhammer or like a Plastic Crack or one of those blogs
that had them.
covered a list that had 12 of them.
I've got so many of those models just because I love the little horsey heads.
Yeah. The horsey heads are very fun.
But them and Craven Throne Guard, I feel, could make for an interesting combination, to be 100% honest.
I could see it. I mean, again, perfect time for it, Matt, because like you can't go wrong.
Yeah, just make sure you got Dreadblade Heroes in your list to do all the teleporting and grabbing battle tactics for you. And then just a mass of bodies just to make sure they never actually get to your Dreadblades. You went on primary scoring, you went on secondary scoring, and then you still retreat and charge and kill enough stuff. There's just so much stuff.
Now here's the question, because this is a non-duplicate list. What would be the I'm going to call them endless spells because I'm still not down with new lingo. What would you pair into that? Would you actually go Morbid Conjuration, or would you throw that on something else that actually needs a little bit more help from Morbid Conjuration?
I would throw it on something else.
I would give them something else as well. I don't think they have the casters.
No. Even if you're doing, because again, your strength is in your bodies, right? You're bringing Reichnor. Probably we want to shoehorn in I'll Rock the Drowner. Like, you don't need to bring a Guardian of the Souls anymore. You kind of want to bring Karados for hitting people, the Cruel Gas that has play. But unless you're going like Nagash, you're not bringing that many casts.
Yeah.
And why are you bringing Nagash? That's 1,000 points. That could just be more stuff.
More of everything.
Well, let's be 100% honest. Nagash and just all Hex Wraiths slaps.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yep.
So I think there's a if you're bringing Nagash, I think you have a good play to take Morbid in the team, because you're taking it away from somebody who's a proper casting army.
Yep.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think just the plain vanilla, like unless there's a really good play with one of the other ones, the vanilla Night Haunt spells.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
The spooky treasure chest and the hourglass.
And the hourglass healing your dudes, adding 1 to run charge rolls is great.
Yep, I think that's it too. I mean, you don't need to take it away from take the options away from the other armies. You can kind of stand your own there.
So here's an idea: Glaive Wraith Stalkers, All Rock the Drowner.
Okay.
And the +1 to move spell gives them +3 to their charge. Or sorry, +3 to their charge, right? Yeah, +3 to their charge.
With the hourglass thing. Yeah.
Right away. And that's 2 damage, crit auto wound. Boom, 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 boom. Nom, 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 nom. Rinse and repeat.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about the second army? Who should jump in with this one?
You started talking.
Yeah, that's right.
You did.
I'm going to throw in a fun, spicy pick.
Spicy.
I think Beasts of Chaos definitely makes it in there.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it.
Yeah.
I very much agree.
Yeah, I just feel like they're so good right now. I mean, as long as someone takes that army and they make sure to pop it chock full of Bestigors, and use the right sub faction, they sort of do like the ultimate null deploy, screw with the opponent who otherwise would be strong in the right mission thing, like every matchup. And they can sort of guarantee like those really oppressive higher end charges kind of out of nowhere because of that ability, right? What is it like, turn one of the charges to a 4, being able to run in charge of those groups, coming in 7 inches away, like they're going to get in there. And then if you're all at defense, you're going to have like 1 million attacks.
Yeah. Again, Ferocious Advance too. Their other passive for subtract 1 from wound rolls for shooting attacks to target the unit.
Yep.
They are oddly tanky. They are the best of gore.
They are the best of gore. That is for sure. But what else do you pair them with? Do you pair them with, do you go Shaman heavy or do you split it between Shaman and Beast Lord? Because I love the Beast Lord in the new sad list. So sad.
I'm not 100% sure. Like I'm sure there's a way like to min-max it better and I have it in my head. But I feel like you'd want some shamans, right, to be able to play like the magic game a little bit, at least deny the enemy magic game. You probably want one of like the Bulgor here, at least some Bulgors, because those remain like a nasty threat.
Bulgar are pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Are we still
glass hammers though?
Here? What are we doing? Are we gonna give someone strikes last?
Nah, man. I would save the points on the cockatrice and get at least 1 6-man unit of Dragon Ogres. If you can fit in a Shaggoth, then like he's just a little bit too expensive, but the amount of damage they can do is pretty terrifying. And then they're just as survivable as they were in the last book. I'd say even maybe a little bit more. They've got 2 control, so they're pretty solid for being a big chunky unit.
That sounds.
But I'm always going to want Dragon Ogres,
Oh, sure. But I will say another thing for them is their endless spell manifestations here are really good.
Yep.
They get an orb -1 to wound, -5 to your control score. The Wildfire Taurus basically being Jaws.
Yep.
That saves you more spell lores for the no repeating. They don't have to take Morbid Conjuration.
I just feel like their superpower in this is going to be a good, play to these strengths you talked about, viable lists, using their unique mechanics to like just try to assassinate something that should otherwise have an advantage against you in the pairings process.
Yeah, and I'm gonna gush over Dragon Ogres just a little bit more. They're one of the more reliable mortal wound outputs that you can get for Beasts of Chaos because they crit mortals. So like pretty good. And they crit mortals on double or triple damage. Right?
On their 2
Not
damage
double or
weapon,
triple,
the
but
Stormforged weapons.
2,
here.
yes. And if you've got the Shaggoth, that's 3 mortals, 6 attacks. Boom, 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 boom. Nom, 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 nom. Right? Those guys should reliably be able to take down a god monster over the course of a turn or 2. Like,
So the one thing I'll say on Beast of Chaos, and I do love them as a pick, is because they're a skew army, right? They have a very interesting setup, and that sort of skews their play style. They're gonna struggle into some of the big castle armies, you know? And so, which is not the end of the world because it's teams, so you can pair them so they just don't have to play that. But you have to be careful about how many skew armies you take, in terms of how many, like if there's a army that has enough bad matchups, even if the green matchups are so green, you want to make sure that you don't have too many of those, because otherwise the puzzle of the pairings process becomes too tricky and you're going to screw it up.
So
okay, I have a question here.
You go, Rocco.
Because again, this is all European shit to me. This is America, out here. Now, is it 8? It's always all 8 of your players play, or is it like 6 lists go up and then
all 8 play. Everyone plays a game.
Okay, everyone plays a game. Is it all the same battle plan? Is it random tables? How does this pairing process work that we're doing this all for?
Sure. So, no, there are 4 different battle plans up every round. So, there's 2 games of each battle plan going on.
Yep.
And what happens is each team will put forth a defender, right? That's face down, and then we reveal at the same time, and then you'll get a chance to bid 2 attackers against your opponent's defender, and they'll pick which one they want.
Gotcha.
And then you sort of repeat that process. There's like a little bit of a trick on the last round because there's not that many cards left, and so you can kind of be like, oh, then this one has to be that, and this has to be that, and that has to be that.
Sure.
But that's basically how it goes. So there are going to be 4. Thinking about who's good into what mission as you're pairing them is part of the calculus.
So I do want to provide a little bit of a rebuttal there, Miles, on your earlier statement. And this is, again, why I'm going to gush over Dragon Ogres.
Sure.
Dragon Ogres actually allow you to not play the Beasts of Chaos expected deployment because they are tough enough and they can heal independently before your rallies. So what I would say is you could pop in maybe a unit or 2, and then what that does is it provides you with a little bit less of this is what this army is going to do. You're not skewing yourself into an ambush-only army. And they do pretty well for that. 8-inch movement is not something to laugh at, to be 100% honest.
Sure.
That makes sense. And I guess it's sort of fun because in the current version, you don't even really force yourself out of the ambush. If you want to ambush them, you can if you're playing with some crazy alpha strike. But yeah, they can hold the line.
Yep. I like it. I like the pick. I like it.
2 down, 2 accepted.
Nice. Okay, so we've got 1 just all around great, and 1 that we're kind of skewing into certain matchups that are more like aggro into aggro, not a castle or an alpha bunker kind of situation.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about some of this other low-hanging fruit here? Let's go, because Rocco, you elf lover over here. Lumineth.
Oh my god.
Lumineth? In this economy?
Listen, we've got, what is it, the Caligrave that's doing the Rome spell. We've got a techless build. We got kangaroos coming out of every orifice of that table. Boxes everywhere. This is where
have 3 or 4 builds, and I love all of them.
Yeah,
but they're all
the first drop. Impressive. They're all just there.
Impressively oppressive.
I was gonna say this is who's taking Morbid.
Yeah,
was my opinion.
Really?
I completely agree.
No. Tell me why.
Because they give for 1, you can take the auto cast, so you can auto cast one of those endless spells every turn.
Yeah.
Meaning Purple Sun is definitely happening, or whatever it is. or whatever it
Yeah,
is you
it's
need.
on an 8, right? So likely to happen, get them all the lack of dispel buffs.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the thing here. We're in a world where spelldoms are just puking stuff out, and you can't stop it. I need my Rune Lord to have +2 to unbind GW, but no. Instead, here I am talking up elves again.
Yeah.
Fickle loyalties.
Hey,
Fickle
man,
loyalties.
Mind Razor
But-
goes off on an 8, and I have no bonuses to cast. I'm right there with you.
But yeah, so they just have the most number of wizards and the most number of bonuses to cast.
Yep.
Okay, makes sense to me. I
And
like it.
also, if you do the Techless build, his passive of the Archmage is instead of making a casting roll, you can say it's off on a 10. Can't be modified. In addition, instead of unbinding or banishing, you use the value of an 8. A lot of these spells get banished on a 7-up.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the other thing too about Lumineth is outside of the kangaroo build, a lot of them are sort of castle, like they're sort of bunkers that move up, and they're sort of slower moving. And so having 4 different endless spells that you can just like sort of shove in people's faces and sort of push with is a real asset for them.
Yeah, auto wounding, crit auto wound sentinels coming from downtown. They don't have the weird thing where their unit champ doesn't get to shoot, which I know that's a weird gripe to have. I know that's a weird gripe to have, but that just bothered the hell out of me for the longest time. It's like, oh, he's pointing the bird. I don't need him to give me the bird. I need him to give me arrows.
Yeah.
Moss arrows.
It's a proud day in Lumineth Archer's life when you graduate from the bow to the bird.
Well, okay, if we're picking Lumineth, are we going with the foxes and kangaroos? Are we going with Techless? Are we going with mixed arms, sentinels, and friends?
Well, that's the question, right? Do you skew? Do you want to set yourself up to know that you're going to go into an army that you're absolutely going to dominate the magic phase with?
So I want to even add into that, because we look at the Huracan Wind Chargers, the kangaroos here, their passive for Wind Charger arrows is wards cannot be made for damage points inflicted by this unit shooting attacks. This is our Nighthaunt killer with volume of fire.
Yep. I mean, I'm always going to go for
the
faster ones. Sorry, Jack, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Matt.
No, I'm always going to go for my roos and my foxes. We've been championing that for how long, Jack?
Oh, for forever. Yeah. And I think that that's their time. And that's what I was going to say too, roos and foxes in this one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go with the consensus. I think, if it's their time to shine, we should lean into it.
Fair enough.
We need a Nighthaunt killer. We need something that gives us a chance in these pairings. We might not always pair into it, but it's still volume of fire.
Sure.
A fast-moving army that again can shoot and move and do battle tactics and things for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Matt, that brings it to you. What's your hot pick, sir?
Man, so this is an interesting one because there are the obvious picks, which are obvious, and I hate obvious picks. So I'm going to go with a list that our very own English spy has been running. A Slanesh too many archers list, which is high skill, but has so much control and speed that they play the objective games well. And there's so much shooting that if you do not have what it takes to get through a round of 10, 20, 33 archers, you're not going to be able to make it. So like God models will go down, yada, yada, yada.
66
right?
shots.
Yep.
3s and 4s.
And there's a lot. There's a lot of tricks that you can pull off with that, and it's range control, which is something I'm not seeing as much of right now.
Okay,
sure. I mean, certainly we're playing LRL in that way, right? With sort of a ranged way, but I agree that range is good right now, and control is good. Is he doing the priority targets trick where a 20-man unit or a 22-man unit of those archers is
Whatever it
getting
is,
plus
yeah.
1 to hit and wound for like no apparent reason?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
Nice.
That may
The-
or may not survive the rules update in a week or so.
Yeah, we'll find out. It's certainly
The-
it'll be at 6 nations.
Yeah.
Ports and all.
It's certainly helpful. It has made my bow snakes very happy.
My flamers have been loving that with their anti-infantry
Oh, yeah.
stuff. Let me tell you.
The
Chaos
main
Gods disrupted me.
Oh no.
the main cool thing though is Shalaxi, which is an area denial monster.
Yes.
And she does that very well. So
Shalaxi needs their time in the sun because when that model dropped, it was so you take the regular Keeper of Secrets because you could just buff it with traits and everything. Just keep it going. And having the anti-hero rend on the Soul Piercer, the Impaling Claw still being 4 damage, the excess of violence for the 2 fight abilities this turn. It's a murder spree. It's excessive.
I'm there for it. I feel like Shalaxi deserves it. My own has a special additional buff called Cloak of Dust based on how much I've gotten to use the model since I've painted it.
Oh, very fancy.
Fancy.
And also in this teams pairings, I don't mind having a second army doing a similar thing to Lumineth because again, it's hey, I'm putting up 2 armies. You put up Nighthaunt. Take your pick.
Now
you can't squeak around this right now.
Now the funny thing is they don't have that larger avoid wards, right? They don't get through that as easily. So you do have to force focus fire. But they do excel at like knocking things out earlier than you would expect because like they're great against castles, right? A castle still has to reach out and touch you. But if you've got a bunch of archers,
volume of fire.
And you could either do, I think it's Seeker Cavalcade, or there's another one where you get an extra amount of rallying. I've been enjoying those, and that really helps for the longevity of your archers. But
that all tracks.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they're sleeper. They're sleeper top tier, and
I get behind that.
The
volume of fire options there are just really good. So that kind of brings us to the next go round. And Miles, you started us out, so no pressure, but can you maintain with a second top pick?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, what's our 4th army here, man?
I'm noticing a significant lack of one of the Grand Alliances so far.
Oh yeah, it's true.
And I think we should bring Ogre Maw tribes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were going to go with Trog.
Trogs are also they were also my second. Like it was between the 2 of them, honestly.
Yeah, one and I think
here. I think reasonably both are a good answer to that prompt.
Okay.
And they kind of do the same thing. I think ogres just have a little bit of an edge.
Tell me about it. Why ogres? What's that edge?
They just like the list is as many gluttons as you're allowed to physically.
Of course.
However many that is.
About your gluttons.
Right. Either some slaughtermasters or butchers, whatever you want. Sure. Sprinkle in a little whatever utility that you're feeling to get some battle tactics, but they just do so much damage and they are so many wounds. Yes. And there's very little in the game that just can get through them fast enough before they're in your face and winning the grind fest.
Yep.
That's fair.
They grind and they slap.
So in the because again, people have been seeing gluttons and hearing gluttons and glutton. What role does this play in the team? Is this another just take all comers kind of list? You just put this out as I'm confident as a defender army. This is the thing.
I think so. Yeah. So this would be an army that you can use to bully people. I mean, Nighthaunt's also in that sense because it's the boogeyman, right?
Yeah.
But It's an army.
Literally.
It's like,
Yeah.
look, if you have a fighty army, I'm gonna do that better than you. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Bodies, not bodies, man.
exactly. And if you're,
Bodies.
I think they have a strong play into Lumineth. Depending on the build, obviously.
Okay.
In the sense that if they're a castle build and the ogres can come just crack it real fast, have fun with that. They probably suffer in the long game against really fast armies, but there's a lot of stuff that's just like cool, and you can use them again, just like Night Hunt, where if you have a better matchup that's more of a rock paper scissors choice, right? Like I really want to get my Hedonites into their whatever Bone Reapers. I'm just making some shit up here.
Yeah, make some shit up.
Bone Reapers, and they put their Bone Reapers down, and I really want them to pick Hedonites because my Hedonites player really knows that matchup and is really going to do well. I can put ogres down next to them, and they'll never pick ogres, and even if they do, like, great. I love that for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Interesting. All right, so we're already getting strategies on armies and how we're doing all this here.
Yep. I can see that. And here's a hot question. You said all gluttons. Would you consider the gluttons, but also a Kragnos for the 3d6 charge? Is that the spiciness for
you can do it? I just think he's too many points, and you're like the trick with the Kragnos build is and I think it's a dealer's choice situation. Is the short answer there, Jack.
Both could be good,
yeah. I personally think he's too many points, and you end up with an army that goes really fast one direction.
Yeah.
That's where
I think see that.
Like his best build has got to be either Trogs, because they do just want to go in one direction, or Gargants, because they have kind of almost the speed to get within his range, right?
I can see that.
I still do think he's so many points.
Yeah, well, for his points, you could have 18 more gluttons.
Yeah.
Oh,
fair point.
Yep.
Very fair point.
Which I've knocked Craggy off the table with.
Shellaxy will do it.
10 Blood Sisters.
I got him eventually with Gut Rippers once.
Nice.
Yeah, like
I shot him dead with Fusiliers.
He will go down a little bit quicker than he used to, because he's got the 4 and up save or 3 and up save now, as opposed to the 2 and up that he used to.
Yeah, whatever got changed.
4 or 3 up on the board.
Yeah.
He's got a shield, and that's it.
He's a little naked.
Again, bodies, not goddies, fellas. What are we doing here?
Hey, man, that's what I'm saying.
For the next pick, I got to stick with my guns. I'm assuming it's me again if we're following the same order.
Sure, go for it.
And I was actually going to go the other direction. Same destruction bents, but good old Trog. And his trolls. They really are solid right now.
Always Trog.
Yep.
Always Trog.
Shout out Ricky Troggy.
Yeah, Ricky Troggy.
And I think it has the benefit of preserving some flexibility for, the last couple picks. It also, is this a lot to get through? You take like the 18 stone trolls, you take like Trug, you take his friend, unlock some of the additional buffs.
Sure.
Dealer's choice and the rest of it.
Yeah, it's an anvil and a hammer, so you can castle up if you want and then slowly move up the board. It's survivable enough that, actually, here's a good question. Would you throw Trog into ogres?
Oh, that's so hard. I feel like that's going to come down to a mid-game priority roll.
Yeah, because you got the ward saves on the Trogs to try to keep them going, but everyone's hitting on a 4-up.
Yeah.
That's just swingy.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I feel like the trolls take that matchup.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement. Because they have the Ren to get through what little armor saves that are available on the ogre side,
I get that. I got that.
The recursion's crazy. It's easy enough to engineer the moon to be wherever you need it to really be.
And you know
You got
what?
mortals.
Trolls, foot ogres there don't have the ways to reach the shrine, huh?
And not unless they mix it up and bring in like a spicy stonehorn or something to do romper rounds.
Or a
If they're just
cannon to shoot
being
it.
foot ogre, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
ogres are decently fast. I mean, because you're talking about these guys they're hungry and they're
+2, right?
and they're running and charging.
Yeah.
Well, here's my other question here too, that we kind of got away from it a little bit. What endless spells are the ogres taking, and what endless spells are the trogs taking here?
Oh yeah. Well,
That's
Miles,
true.
why
You
don't you
are-
go first with the ogres?
Sure, you are definitely taking butchers, so you might as well think about some endless spells. If no one's taken it so far, I think Primal is a solid one
Primal
for them.
is available.
The trick with butchers is that they're single casts, right? And if you're so actually I think a good one for ogres might be Kronspine.
Yeah, that hasn't been taken yet.
That's fair.
Or
Interesting.
you give them a dump one because they're never going to cast it anyway. You know.
Okay. So what are we considering a dump one here? What are we?
I think that like the
Forbidden Power.
Yeah, the one with the Horrorghast and the bridge and
Yeah,
Love
Forbidden Power. Forbidden Power.
You guys eat your words. Shards of Valagar is the most game-defining spell.
Oh, tell me about Shards of
Whoa.
Valagar.
I love it.
Cuffs.
I love it, but it's the one that's the least directly useful to I think a lot of armies.
True.
Like
True.
all of these ones have utility. They're all good for something.
I know.
You know.
Fisticuffs.
My choice I think is easy for the trolls. They don't have like massive caster potential, but I do think the default, for like endless spell lore is good for them because you can maybe get the moon off and ensure you have a bunker of better saves and better everything.
Nice. Can they still take Spiderwave? Is Spiderwave still around?
Yeah. I think they got Spiderwave in there.
Spiderwave.
It's like Spiderwave,
I think it
it's
still
moon,
pops up
it's
from
mushroom,
anywhere
and
too. From terrain. Which
Spiderwave.
we know there's a lot of terrain on tables these days because they have maps for it, so we can't just kind of screw ourselves on it.
Which is nice.
It is.
Very true. It'd be super fun if you get one of those off and it's an unexpected place, denying like drops.
What is the actual name of Spiderwave? Does anyone remember?
Flock of Seagull. What do we got here?
I kind of want it just to be Spiderwave now.
I was looking it up on my phone. I'm like, there's no way it's
Spiderwave.
called Spiderwave.
Does whatever Spiderwave.
Just thinking of like
Yes.
synthwave music, but arachnid
Scuttle-Tide.
Scuttle-Tide. Very good. Very good.
Crit mortal, 8 attacks, 4s and 4s. Has a 4 ward safe if it's wholly within 12 of an Arachnarok unit. Can go over shit like it flies. Vanishes on a 7, so Teclis can say bye-bye spiders.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, it's good enough for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting it for free.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I'll take
And
it.
even if it doesn't come from terrain anymore, it's still good for what it does.
Yeah.
All right, so
That's
recap here, fellas. What do we have again? We got Nighthaunt,
Nighthaunt, Beast
Nighthaunt.
of Chaos,
Yeah.
Lumineth,
Lumina.
Hedonites,
Mhm.
Ogres, and Gloomspike Gits.
All right, Trog specifically. All right, so it's my turn here. We got 6 armies. So in all that, we only really have the one real good spellcasting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. All right, because I'm torn. Because again, Rocco Ya Elf Lover loves his Deepkin. I love my Shelly baby girl. I really do like Slaves to Darkness. I was looking at Sons of Behemoth as a big monster army. I know a lot of armies can pass the DPS check these days, but if you get a good matchup, you can pick into it. It's gonna probably at least just stand on a circle and die slowly to save points in a good matchup.
Or
But
quickly, depending on what you run into.
True that.
yeah, 10 Witch Elves fully buffed could probably kill a Mega Gargan. I don't know the math anymore. But that means I'm gonna have to go to my latest love of Disciples of Zinch here.
Yep.
I was thinking you might.
Oh, just as planned. Because we need Kairos on this table. We need the other bird on this table. We're gonna take all demons and we're gonna be all pink horrors, flamers for anti-infantry, and a big -1 to hit bubble. And I don't care if your volumes of attacks, you're usually hitting on 4s if you've got volume. That means you're hitting on 5s now. And just come at me. All right. Well, I'm throwing. Give me Aether Rot. Give me the Quicksilver Swords. Give me the Pendulum. Give me the shit. It's good.
Yeah.
Stop going through people's wards is good. Having a bunch of casts, having at least 5, maybe 6 casts. If you throw in another foot hero, you can be a 2-drop. You can be so many horrors. It's stupid, but it makes sense because horrors refill horrors. You can spend a low destiny dice to bring back a unit of horrors at half strength when they die. Be recursion, be annoying, eat a bad matchup, and still be a spell dom.
Yep.
Spell dom is a great term.
Yeah.
It is. DOM. It's really easy to do.
Your Slanesh is showing, Jack.
I know. So anyway, yeah. Are you like a spell dom or a con sub? Is that how this works?
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, it was between that or Seraphon for me, and I'm like, we need more magic in this. We need to and then are people taking Khorne?
So Khorne is in an interesting spot. They are incredibly powerful. Alex, who we had on here, he got what was it? First Khorne player in.
He went like 3-2
to come
play the full 8 games.
Yep. He's almost going to be first Khorne player of the end of the season.
Yeah,
take number 1.
It's his Infinity
decided to throw his Khorne into my Snake Ladies on Saturday.
Okay.
They're still just as brutal. And in a game where summoning is very much dependent on a dice roll or a CP, yada yada yada, they can still pull a Bloodthirster back that can essentially get a 9-inch pile in your movement phase.
Okay.
So
again, here's my thing, real quick, man. Sorry to cut you off. I got it.
Lay it on.
Maybe Khorne is our 8th pick then to go against Spelldomp if we're worried about Seraphon, if we're worried about Lumineth, if we're worried about some of these other matchups. But until someone tells me that, I am feeling great about my Tzeentch pick.
I think you should feel great about your Tzeentch pick. I think it's an army that if it gets paired into something good, it's going to dominate. And if it gets paired into something bad, it's still going to score very well.
Well, and that's also the thing about Khorne, right? The best lists don't have very much Dispel anymore. They are just pure power, right? They come in
Matt,
and they wreck your face.
Is that our 8th pick? Are you going Khorne?
I don't know.
It's okay if you just want to wax poetic about Khorne for a bit. That's okay too.
What would you build with that Tzeentch list?
Well, again, I was doing the double chicken with the horrors. I know Zangor, Skyfires are going good. Caleb Walters in the US brought like 18 of them or whatever, and then a chicken.
It's too many. Too many.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't know how the hell he won with it. Besides, he just kept shooting and then just doing damage and just shooting, and no one touched him. I don't know how Ruse didn't wipe him on the table turn 1, top of 1. I don't get it, but it's not for me to get. The man's been playing Tzeentch for 6 years, 5 years, however long it's been. Him and his brother Scooter on Iron Jaws for ever. So they're the outlier. But again, give me something that is just full of living bubble gum and pink horrors, bouncing around, applying weird flame to stuff. Give me the subfaction that when you're weird flamed, you're -1 to wound me.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if I run into an elf, they'll be wounding me on 5s.
Yep. -1 to hit if you're within range of the demons too, and -1 to wound.
Yeah.
That's extremely powerful now.
I'm just there to be annoying.
Yep.
And that is my list. That is my idea for this lovely tournament here. To again, like we're saying, we got a good matchup. Great. Let me go and fight Teclis, that fucking nerd.
I love it. Well, that honestly brings us to like the final pick. I mean, Matt, what rounds out the dream team here?
Yeah.
So, like, I know the obvious answer, right? And that would be Slaves to Darkness, because we would need what's his face with the stuff and things, and he annoys me because I
That could
don't
be
have the
anybody.
model.
Oh God.
Fucking Bellacore.
I was gonna say Jack Bow.
Love to see him.
Because
Oh, Bellacore.
Just
I heard Bellingham and thought of
just the Bellacore. I mean,
Okay.
honestly, like that and Varangard, like I would
Yes.
expect to see that in pretty much every team. So like that
That's
is
fair.
a fine pick.
Or Matt, do you take like Archeon and a bunch of Chaos Warriors?
You could go Abraxia
And sit on circles.
So that's the thing. If I wanted to do that, there is a much better choice, and that would be Stormcast using primarily Vanguard. Do a split Paladors list, and
Matt, your hipster showing.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing good in the Midwest.
Look, if you want to be hipster chaos, do what I was talking about last episode, Matt. Go by Gunner brand flavorless.
Oh yeah.
No, I think honestly you do need like a good like just curb stomp list, right? Because right now there's not really many of those. There's a lot of like take all comers lists. There's not something that you can just say, oh, cool. Here come my Vanguard. That thing is
I got 20 points. 20 points in the bag.
Yeah. Right. And I think it, an Archeon or what's his face?
B-Man.
Yeah. Bellicant.
He'd be lacking.
I think that would have to round it out. I can't really think of many other lists that hit as hard as that. Korn does have the ability to do it, but you're not as survivable getting up there. Even with the wards that they have, there's enough in the team list, right? That we have enough castles, we have enough survivability.
Yep.
But we don't have hammers, right? We don't have that many hammers.
Are you thinking of the variant where it's like B-Man plus a bunch of Vanguard, essentially?
And maybe Abraxia to make it hurt even more, to really just make the sadness happen, You
got another hero killer to go and target armies that rely on their heroes. It's not a bad idea.
Yep. And that being said, like it's not. I know I'm downing it, but that's only because I'm afraid of it. I wouldn't want to run into that list.
It's a list that can win real hard. But also has weaknesses. Yeah. So as long as you can match it well, I think it would be good. But if you find something that can spit out mortal wounds and just erase the Vanguard, then you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
I'm still not used to that, with them not having a ward save anymore. That just bothers me.
Yeah.
They left the warp steel shields at home.
It's a little strange. Everyone. It's a little strange. But that's also, I would imagine, actually I haven't seen this fight yet, so I haven't watched a game where this has happened. But like theory crafting, I wonder if they're a good counter for some of the Lumineth out there that are, they're paying points to ignore wards, right?
Yeah.
I wonder how that works. Obviously we'll have a lot of fun against Trogue.
If that was a counter, then Iron Jaws would be crushing it. And I don't think that's what's
you definitely, your counter versus those Luminous shenanigans, they're like the cross your fingers and pray that you get off your 3d6 charge spell, and then you can like get them ruse and then foxes when they're not ready for it.
Well, and that speaks to something that makes this list good, right? Is it's a fast hammer. It's not an Iron Jaws hammer, which is like we do make
those noises.
It's the Monty Python. They see him coming from around the way. Back like, oh yeah, just guarding the door.
The majority of the army is moving. What are they moving? 10, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
We're talking Vanguard,
that's pretty good. And then they're throwing mortals. So that's a lot of struggle. One of the great things, one of the things I very much enjoyed hearing was that Teclis no longer has a 4+ ward whenever he wants. Now it's a 5+, meaning, Vanguard fighting twice
Slightly
on
better.
Teclis ain't going to be much no Teclis left.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I think there's definitely a couple, variations in there of the hit hard and do it well, at least for the ones I've been playing, but that could definitely be a nice round out. So you guys all agree we have our 8?
I think we
Maybe
do.
we're 8.
Oh man.
And we even
wanna-
got our hour episode in.
Yeah.
Do we want
Word.
a quick rapid fire? Any
Honorable mentions?
runners up, notable mentions?
Oh, of
Oh, yeah.
course. Yeah. You
I
go
want
first.
Deepkin to be on there. Deepkin to be on there.
Yeah.
They've got the speed, they've got the punch. You still got to get to round 3 to kill everything, but I feel like that, Oops All Eels still has play, even defensive eels lowering your attack characteristic. They still get their ward eventually. You got to go through a couple steps.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, the Achillean King that can go and pick a unit to fight after them is still good. I think Volturno's having a spell ignore or ward versus spells, whatever it is. He's got something to spell protection, and this world of endless spells trying to eat him, and he still gives out +1 attack to everybody at high tide.
I like outflanking archers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drop
I
it
don't
on
like
the
that.
archers.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
That seems
I,
fair.
in fact, hate that.
Matt, I was gonna echo your pick of Stormcast. I think there's a lot of good builds in Stormcast.
Yeah, Stormcast is really, really strong. We're gonna see, I guess, what happens with the new book, but
I mean, if you could see the
There's-
War Scrolls.
dude, all the Vanguard is back. I'm lending
It is.
I'm lending most of my excuse me, I'm lending most of my Vanguard out to a buddy of mine who just wants to play Paladors.
Sure.
And
Love to see it.
so
what's Mason
I'm happy
hopping
to
on
see it.
next?
Oh, he's actually bringing a list really similar to yours. He borrowed my Zinch.
Okay.
But like, not only is Vanguard back, but like dragons are back. Well, dragons never went away, but
yeah,
they're
dragons never went away. They just got
and-
better over time.
back. And the new stuff is good, right?
It's okay. Yeah.
The
Emo
prosecutor
chamber. Yeah.
and
The sad boy chambers.
yeah,
They
relictors. What the fuck? The 3-man unit with the 2 buddies.
whatever they're called.
Reclusians. I was close.
I have one job on this podcast, and it's the fact check, gentlemen.
Keep us honest.
Yeah, Miles,
Nice.
you are as handsome as everyone says.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Validation at last, Nas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lots of good
Jack
stuff going on in
Logan
Stormcast. Anyway,
Mustache game on point, as they say.
The one thing that they do have to worry about, Stormcast specifically, is a lot of those models do suffer from anti-infantry, which is the most prominent thing that you're seeing.
And when it's 3
because
models
they're
in a
relying,
unit,
they're relying on their 3+ save, right? So if something's coming in with anti-infantry, the points are in the 3+ save across the board. Like even Vanguard have 3+ saves. I dropped my jaw when I saw that. So like they're good. They're really good, but they're continuing, from what I've seen so far, to be another easy to play, hard to master army.
Really makes sense.
And they feel really good. But man, I've run into all Reclusian and all what are they called? The Quester Soulborn list.
Oh sure, teleport
Which just
around.
comes down. It's a castle on your side of the board, turn 1, right?
Yeah.
That all tracks.
Those
Opinion plays,
don't,
can't walk
those
on an
don't
objective.
survive. Those don't survive as long as you think they do, right?
Mhm.
Even though it's a castle, even though they're strong as hell. Once we see Callus and Toll go up in points, I don't think it's going to be as much of a thing. I'm really thinking Paladors and Storm Strikes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll throw in a runner-up, at least for me. I just think it would be good, but we did not include Oops All Zombies, Soul Blight.
Soul Blight is really strong right now.
It's good in the team environment. Just clog up the board.
great. They also have a lot of good builds.
Yep.
So many. I mean, like, you don't have to go all zombie, you can do other stuff, but like just bodies in the places you don't want them to be, getting there, some tools to deal with challenges. There's a lot going on there.
And I'll throw my last one in the mix. Fire Slayers. I think Fire Slayers using Rune Smiter in your face, turn 1 castle in your face, actually could be a lot of fun. It's a lot of wounds to soak up. They get +1 to their save for being in your deployment. And then there's no real way to stop a lot of their stuff from going off because they're prayer, right?
That's true.
Sure.
They may be a little bit overcosted, but because the saves to rend ratio is actually close the gap, right? They just throw so many attacks. You can add the rend. They have situational tools. That would be my runner-up, but I think that's only because they're fun.
Yeah, they are fun.
I
do think, and this is much like the Slanesh pick, is you need a really good Fire Slayers player to make them really sing.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's true. But very unlike the Slanesh pick, they have the dubious distinction of being the most fun you can have with your clothes off while disappointing your teenage self.
Yes. 100.
Very good. I think we made it to a good place.
I believe so. We should have just cut it there. Just cut it there. Go back and cut it there.
Hard cut, fade to black.
Yeah.
Executive producer Dick Wolf.
Yeah.
We need
it's really cool, like campfire music. It's not even Noise Strikes Late, but
we just need to end with the Incredible Hulk scene where he's what is it? He's hitchhiking and the sad song plays in the room.
Fade to last word.
Nurgle. I'll take Nurgle. Every single person on the team, different model from Nurgle. All Nurgle all the time. No.